Every time I click on Fiddle, it sounds like he's fapping, so I don't want to click on him anymore.
We got it. We know what fapping is.
Yeah, that's what Fiddle's doing right now.
No need to reenact.
Actually, I think I need a coaching on the subject.
All right. Should be better now. Okay. So you did a cool open, which I love. And then, yep, you went right into tempo mode. This looks so much better than what you were doing the first time. Because it actually looks like you're trying to be aggressive. So Amumu gets fucked over by this is why I have you do this. You see?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I started doing this like start in blue and then invade, and it's been working out really well.
So it puts him in a really tough position where now he has to pick up the pieces.
Why did he just like sad invade these like blue you already had?
Yeah, I don't know. He's confused. So
he doesn't understand what getting triple buffed means.
It's so sad to watch though. He just like goes to the blues. Is this here?
this is kind of a weird spot where we're kind of unsure with what we want to do. My initial thought is like, I want to move to red, but I understand lingering mid because of just the way that the lane is. Like I get that idea because like it's very possible that Amumu's here. Like if our camps are still up and he didn't get this scuttle, then that means he fucked up and went this way. And if he went this way, his only play is to gank mid or top. And since mid is the only thing that's available, then it makes sense that he will gank mid. But the thing that I don't understand with what you're doing is why you are pathing. You should, after the way that this unfolds, you should not be going through this path like ever, because there's never going to be anything over here is what I'm trying to say. Visualize it in terms of like jungle pathing. You suspected that Amumu has started blue and went this way. At that point, the camps haven't reset yet, so the only play here is to get your red or to block mid gank. So you block mid gank, but you do it in a weird way. That kind of tells on you a little bit. And this kind of goes back to the vision stuff that we talked about. If you had just played
that makes
here,
sense. And there's like not an alternative. Like if Amumu didn't come back, I would just be out there in the middle of nowhere.
okay, so you've worked yourself now into the spot that I like to be as a jungler. Okay, and that spot is you are now in a position. You've cleared properly. You've both, you know, he's cleared improperly. You cleared properly. You have the XP lead, and now you're in a position where enemy team, if they take a fight, you respond to it, but you need to think just like we did before about popping out of brushes or being undetected, because people's plans change when they don't know that it's going to be a 2v2. So like, for example, here, if you're in the bush, here, you can just ping this person and then jump out and she's dead. Look at her. She has no sums. Well, she has no flash. So you just target ping this and it's GG. All right, so we're in a pretty strong position. So you must have did some monumental throwing to lose this one, because this is a pretty good spot to be in. So here you flank. You autoed a minion there. Don't think it changed the outcome too much. Okay, so basically right now, this is the point where things are going well and you get really excited, right? Because you're like, I'm kicking ass, I'm doing big things. But essentially what you've done is you've put your hand in the cookie jar and you've gotten a bunch of cookies. You haven't even eaten the cookies yet, and your hand's still in the cookie jar, and you're like, well, I've gotten like 3 cookies, but maybe I can fit my hand around 7 cookies. Right? You're not really cashing anything here. And so your gank, even though it's good, like from a pathing standpoint, you are just playing out of control now. Look how much gold you have.
Yeah, exactly.
This is out of control. So the reason I'm saying that you've gotten cookies already is because think about all the scenarios that have went our way. First, Amumu no red, right? So Amumu has no red and double scuttle and a kill. So basically from a jungle exchange experience, fucking whatever, this whole situation is a big ass win for us. So you need to cash our win. Like we need to cash and make our money right now, or we need to use our money right now. You are basically walking around with a fifth of the team's gold and not using it. Fifth of the team's total gold and not using it. Well, actually, I'm sorry, a quarter of the team's gold and not using it, really. And so these ganks lose value. And so you're gonna get items now, but you did it after just punting gold to the other team and not controlling your lead. Not to mention that if you had backed sooner and got your items on the map, you would be able to clear faster and then get on the map with stronger items faster and all that, yada yada. So now it's time to be confident. So you've got your items, you've got your ult. Someone's TPing on your head, but I honestly don't know if I give a shit. See how you're jumping away here? I don't really know if I care about this TP at all. When I saw it, my initial read was like, I will happily fight this all day because you have your ult and you have your you have just bought items and your Seraphine is there too. So it's an argument in terms of numbers. So you jump in, you're doing your thing, but you keep running away from it. But I'm just not... I'm not very fearful of Amumu. And now you've unlocked red buff again. And you've got the mid shoved. So let's see if we go for that. So he's gonna go and... Okay, so he's gonna contest this. But you shouldn't be letting go of them. Like, you're stronger. You should be ganking your... Okay, so you do gank. You just take kind of a loopy path. And then you go into red. Okay. Yeah, you just kind of indirect path a lot, I think. So like here, you could just walk behind the singed, but you take kind of, like I said, like a goofy route that actually winds up taking you more time than if you had just pathed straight. And then for this, you're doing your thing. You can always just shove and dive. There's nothing stopping you from doing that either. But Amumu is top side, so you go into red. You telegraph that you're going to red though. First of all, you see this? This type of movement is really bad because basically you're sending a bat signal to everybody where you're going, because no one walks like this. If you even so much as walking like this and then moving is better. You need to, because of what you're saying. So you're basically saying, I'm going for the Amumu, and then Amumu sees you and runs at you in a straight line because of it. And then you need to ult preemptively versus this champion if he's on top of you, and you win.
Yeah, he kind of burst me down when I was expecting. Yeah, that just misplayed there. But I see a common theme in that my movement, I think there's 3 times this game where it just was inefficient, or it just, I think a lot of times, like, I'm not planning ahead of what I should be doing until, like, I get to a situation where I'm already pathing in the wrong direction.
Well, that's just reps too. But one thing that what I really want you to do is I want you with this champion to play really confident all the time. If it like Kindred's all about once you get ahead, like every play should just lead with you opening strong instead of playing defensively. Use your Q to kite if you have to, but I would rather you open really strong and confident, because right now your moves are normally just like, I'm gonna play a little timid. Like you always kind of like back off of fights, and a lot of the champions that you're backing off from, like you'll either have a level lead or you'll have an item buy, you'll have ult. Like I really want you pushing the boundary. It's the same thing I tell Ezreal players. Play aggressive until they make you stop. Like don't E forward, just like I wouldn't want you to Q forward. At least not until you're sure that you're winning, but like walk at somebody confident and then save your Q as a response. So versus a Mumu, you would walk at a Mumu and then after autoing him a couple times, just preemptively Q to the side, and then it'll normally go your way. Like stuff like this, like invading is good. That ult is good. Now, after this point, all these kills and everything are great, and these invades are great, but at the end of the day, these should unlock objectives. So you should start thinking about, okay, I got the kill. How can I get the objective now?
Okay.
So like, let's see, do you do it? Okay, you get the scuttle. Do you go for this? You go for this now. Amumu's up. Well, he's on dragon. So we get this. Then you go to mid. You start Drake. Okay, so let's talk about the steal.
I don't know if I even have my smite for
You
this
didn't
one.
have smite here. Where did our smite go? What did we use it on?
I think I smited the scuttle.
You mean
I
this?
think I normally smite scuttles. Probably the Rift Herald
This
too.
is what it was, yeah. So, this is an easy adjustment. Don't smite unless you have to. Unless it's contested. Here you knew.
Okay.
You knew that a Mumu was bot side based on the minimap, so there's no need to do this. There's no need to smite. And you can just hold it, and then when you come down here, you wouldn't lose it. This is why you'll hear streamers say things like, I'm gonna keep my smite here. It's like, you should be thinking of an excuse to keep it. Obviously, it's gonna suck when like a GP ult comes down and like jacks your objective or whatever, but at the same time, because you knew that Amumu was bot side and you knew that they didn't have any globals or anything, you should have felt pretty confident and just autoing it down. Rift here is fine with me. So here, just a good little tip, and this is for everybody. When we have this, you got to know that you're the bug zapper here and that everybody's just pathing you in a straight line. So just get the dash and leave. The dash is really all you want. With the dash, I mean the Rift Herald dash. Once it's like gonna dash a second time, if you hit that, we're good. This will do enough damage to the tower to justify it. And then you just leave. Lingering around is what gets people in trouble. You don't need to take like 2 towers. Basically, a lot of your deaths can be summarized by trying to do too much now. Like, I want you to play aggro, but once you succeed, dial it in. It's like if we were running a race, right? You want to start strong, but you don't want to like burn out, right? You kind of want to like settle into it. So start strong, and then once you get your lead, keep it. And the way we keep it is by cross-referencing. Remember what I tell everybody: abilities, minimap, wave, abilities, minimap, wave, and then obviously add in the death timers over time. And the minimap would have told you, like, you know, the line of scrimmage is somewhere way behind us. Probably, like, yes, we're pushed up, but because of where our teammates are, we can't really cross half right now without getting caught because of where these guys are. They're not defending us. So yeah, overall, I would say overall, I'm happy with where this where you're going with your game, because this looks a hell of a lot more confident than what you were doing before, and it looks like the results are starting to catch up now finally.
Yeah, it feels a lot better now that I'm starting to get used to it. That helps too, because there's a lot of pathing stuff I can fix, and like not I have a list of items I can work on now to get
Perfect.
even more.
Perfect. So what I would say is try to visualize how the game, like with jungle, and this is for everybody that jungles, try to visualize the ritual, so to speak. And the ritual being, I'm gonna do my clear and then I'm gonna fight for crab. If it's a fight for the crab and we fight over it and we win, we might be able to get double crab. If we've split and one side gets one crab, one side gets the other, well, now you got to play against that gank, which is going to normally show up in mid. And if you want a 2v2 in mid, you can opt into it. Or you could both elect to do side lane ganks, or one of you side lane, one of you go mid. But you need to be kind of aware of that dance that's happening early on. Because with jungle, there's no waves that are just meeting in mid over and over again, right? It's just you path, you try to figure out roughly where your opponent's pathing, and then you plan based on that. And then a lot of it, again, boils down to just dodging the vision and making sure that you're not, you know, telegraphing your action. So that's the other big thing, is stop telegraphing. And I think everybody can learn from that too. Who was the guy that we were supposed to, that we never went over? What was his name?
Roaming
rapier.
Roaming needs to, roaming needs to happen, because I have
He's
not
only been reviewed like once for 30 seconds.
Okay.
He's just not here most of the time
Same.
because he has work.
He learned real quick. Okay, so we're gonna do this as a group, because obviously roaming isn't here. So what's wrong with this picture early on? Why do you think this doesn't go our way? What about this? Yeah, so
minions, yeah.
The minions.
Well,
Slight minion advantage for Yasuo.
well,
And you
it's
have to use
minions,
shield, too.
and it's a couple things. So Yasuo, we could argue, has a pretty good level 1. We all agree. Pretty fast push.
It's the shield. It's the shield. He should
The
have
shield.
poked the shield out before he
The
traded.
shield and also his Q is on a relatively low cooldown.
How do you
So-
poke the shield out before
He
you
back
Just
down when he
tap.
had Fury build up.
G's asking the real questions. How do you poke the shield out? So
Make it a
there's a couple
priority.
things. There's a couple things here though. First, you guys are right. Obviously, the shield's good, but the Q being on low cooldown and how fast the Yasuo pushing is the bigger issue. And the other thing is Renekton, and this is just for y'all's spatial awareness. Renekton's level 1 is pretty trash, honestly. If Renekton is ever beatable in lane, it normally becomes this shit that beats him in lane. He takes a really bad trade early on and it gets him in trouble. The key with Renekton is to understand that your real power comes at 2 and beyond. All right. And then obviously after a certain point in the game, we'll say like, 15 minutes or whatever, he starts doing this and starts falling off a bit. Right. And this is Renekton. He's very sad and he just wants to.
2 questions right here.
Yeah.
If you have an ability like Yasuo and Renekton both have an ability, like if Renekton Qs and it hits Yasuo but it also hits the wave, do minions aggro Renekton in that situation?
No, so the way it works is, and this is for everybody's awareness, it's targeted abilities are what aggro the minions. Targeted abilities.
Okay.
Now, Yasuo's got a weird one where I'm pretty sure, like this is just Riot Games in general. It's on hit, which is the same thing with Ezreal Qs as well, or GPQ. So what you need to realize is that these abilities all draw minion aggro as well.
Regardless, like even
though they're AoE, though they're AoE, if you hit the
through a
champion,
minion, though, does
You
it
hit it through a
still?
minion?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no,
the
it
funny thing,
doesn't.
even if it
it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. With
Are you
Yone,
sure?
it doesn't.
Okay.
I can send a video real quick. Let me find it.
Yeah, because
I was watching this yesterday.
Because I was thinking if Renekton starts Q here, like if Yasuo walks up, just Q the wave. Like once, it's not gonna push it too hard, and you're gonna knock Yasuo's shield off.
I mean,
And,
I'm
like, be
okay
able to
with
go
Yasuo.
with
For
the
the
trade.
record, I'm okay with letting him have the shove early. It's no problem.
Yeah. What runes is Roaming using right now? Because I know when I was playing against him in a custom, he used these weird runes because whenever he starts W,
Second
he's just
wind and unflinching.
doesn't look like just the normal runes.
Those
I
are
like
fine.
unflinching. Yeah, I feel like that's fine with this match or with this game, like with a volley and a rel.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything. There's nothing too wrong here. My main concern is making it so that he doesn't take so much damage right off the jump, because as you can see, he can do that much damage pretty easily.
One trade.
Pretty sure Renekton like hard counters Yas.
Yes, it is a hard counter, but the problem is his health is so low that he's already in a lot of trouble.
Oh, okay.
The stun under tower.
That's on the video.
I didn't see him taking
Nice.
that right there.
And a time link.
Where'd I go? Because he queued him.
Yeah, that was well played.
Flash the mastery.
Go ahead and tilt the Yasuo a little bit.
Oh, in the 5v5, the Ashe flashed her mastery like 4 times after she escaped the gank, which was just laugh. And then I jumped on him and killed him. It was so funny.
He needs to ward.
Yeah,
But
That's
it
really
works
nice.
out.
he needs to shove in though. There's no reason to not shove in here. You see the action top. The all-in is great though.
Oh, I didn't even see the volley top. Yeah.
So when you get a kill, and this is for all the laners, when you get a kill, first thing you do, abilities minimap wave, right? So minimap to see stuff like this. Am I allowed to push in? So as Renekton here, I would 100% take that shove. I would not back. I think this is a big mistake. It's gonna be pretty.
In a bad spot.
Yeah,
Terrible
it's gonna be
spot.
pretty. It's gonna be pretty impossible for Volibear to ever kill us. Even if he wants to try to gank us, Yasuo has no TP. He just used it. It's pretty free. It's a pretty free shove position. So not a fan. Not a fan of this back. Would shove all the way to tower.
So what if there was if the wave was pushing into Renekton? Would you let it do that?
Backing's
Just walk back
still
a lane?
backing's
That would-
still cool. Yeah,
Yeah, I think.
but the problem there is that it's not cool there.
Yeah, I agree.
He could have taxed Yasuo a lot harder.
I run into that issue when I'm trying to freeze mid lane because the lane's so short. Melee minions sometimes just don't want to aggro you. They just walk right past you under turret. If you're like standing in front of them.
Okay, so the first thing here is that we somehow come into lane with no HP, and that's just because we tank too many minions. And that's also because, you know, the freeze is not that bad, but it's overdone. The dragging of the minions takes way too long. Here was fine, and then he should have just kept walking to the side. It's fine if like one minion goes under tower, but this shit right here where we lose all this HP, we lose 1/4 of our HP to minion aggro, and then the minions target us again, and now we're under half HP.
That was a greedy freeze, like what he was trying to do
It's
right
just
there. I guess.
it's unnecessary. Just kind of goofy and easy to avoid. A freeze isn't that important, so just be careful with that. And then we go in. We go in all confident, but this is the plight of the Renekton. If we just wait and get 6, it would have been so much better here. We're 2 melee creeps from 6. And we easily kill. And how much longer do we have till Ignite's up? Okay, we have 80 seconds till Ignite. So basically you're gonna get 6, and you could be able to all in with 6. You won't even need Ignite to kill Yasuo because he has nothing. He has 1 Doran's Blade still.
Yeah, it looks like there's no point in getting the solo kill here. Like, you have a freeze, he can't walk up to CS. You might as well you should just wait for Ignite or ult to come up, or wait for him to mess up his positioning.
Yeah,
remember that the goal of the game is to have all-ins that make sense and that they also give you an out. Like, it's important to have an out on your all-ins. If you're trying to all-in people without ults or ignites or flashes and shit like that, I just feel like you're playing too loose. Yeah. What were you gonna say? Someone was
he
gonna
didn't have an
comment.
empower W.
Yeah.
So,
So
so
it's just
for longer.
it was a really messy throw, and you're playing Renekton, so you can't punt. You can't punt like this. because you need to be in charge of the game and in control. Much like Tryndamere, you can't afford to make mistakes like that.
Yasuo's ahead at this point, right? Just because of shutdown XP and shutdown gold, and like he's probably gonna miss like a cannon XP here or something.
He's behind 200 gold.
I see.
And yeah, he's ahead in XP now.
I don't know why Fiddle didn't catch that wave for him.
See, Yasuo is actually ahead in XP just like that.
Yeah, I didn't realize until you mentioned it yesterday or something about the shutdown XP or something. You get like a shit ton of.
It's not even necessarily shutdown XP. It's just like when you're solo killing people a level ahead of you. That's where it gets.
Is it so you get more
ridiculous.
XP for
Yeah, how many levels they are?
ahead?
Yeah.
Wow.
Shutdown XP would be pretty broken, I think.
I mean, it already kind of is shutdown XP in terms of like the levels, like the disparities. That's why when I get leads, I'm really like super safe, and when I'm behind, I'm super aggro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like anytime that I'm not dominating a game, I play like really reckless and try to duel people like relentlessly, because I know that, well, at least with the champions I play, I know that if I get the kill, then it's going to be worth it most of the time for me.
Yeah, so if you're like a level 6 Fiora against a level 7 Renekton or something and diving him because you see the opportunity and getting the kill but also dying is totally worth for you, I guess, in that situation.
Yep.
Yeah. Honestly, cashing the gold in the mid game, something I think that I need to work on.
He's just going berserk.
Yeah, he's kind of just running around now. It seems very haphazard and goofy. So what should he be doing right now, guys? Or what do you think I would be doing?
Pushing wave.
I would be pressuring a lane.
Still pushing.
Maybe going bot and
I'd probably go
trading
top or
the-
bot.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks like Darius is heading bot, so yeah, I would. Well, by the time he gets to top, Garen's probably gonna reset. But even then, dude, like I would just split push as a Renekton and wait for somebody to come, like just pull pressure off their side of the map.
Yeah, I just kind of said bot lane because like ADCs really don't mind like going mid with farm.
Do you think you could even push mid wave under tower and then take chickens and wolves?
Yeah, that's fine too. I would rather do it up a top side though, just so it's less likely to get caught. But yeah, that's like, I want to, once we get this big of a lead, like I just want to stay in sides and just get all my gold for free. So like a kill like this, he should be running to collect top and just start working side lanes. So with a bruiser pick, you would still want to do, you know, top laner things. And I think that's a really important distinction. Honestly, even stuff like Yone and all that still want to do this, where they just go to side lanes.
Most AD champions do, like melee AD champions.
Yeah, we just floating around in mid. This is a really important thing. Every time I click on Fiddle, it sounds like he's fapping, so I don't want to click on him anymore. Speaking of fapping, that's what we're doing right now by running around the map and not side laning. This will be, in my opinion, the easiest thing that he needs to incorporate to get a lot more value out of the pick. Because what he's doing is he's siphoning off a bunch of XP from his team, and he's basically leaving. It's basically unclaimed water up here.
And wouldn't it even be in mid lane? Because there's a wave mid lane. The Yasuo's just farming on them.
Yeah, I mean, like right now we're just A-ramming essentially and hoping it works.
Yeah, it's a little bit of.
Yeah, with no cooldown, he's playing this volley.
Dude, the Renekton kite.
But it's just out of control, and like he just punts a shutdown with 1500 behind.
Dude, Garen has 46 CS and he's been in this lane for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, this is when I flame the lower elo. Yeah, when I say like, how the fuck are you not hitting farm with Garen?
Yeah, he was legit like farmed like 4 or 5 waves totally alone, no pressure.
Aaron hasn't unlocked his E yet. Don't blame him.
So if Renekton spawns and just starts running down to the next fight again, that's how you know it's a mess. It's not controlled. Yeah, see, so he's going right to mid. Which is a shame because, you know, he's got the lead. He's got the ability to just take this money and take this and set up rifts and just get this free money over here, but he just keeps
Yeah, and this game, like, going on longer than it should, like, nobody's close to ending this game right now. Because nobody's pressuring anything, it's just ARAM, and their team definitely wins the scale battle, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, you're waiting on Yasuo and Vayne to come online, Volibear's gonna be fucking solid.
It's just a lot of mindless running to mid, running to mid, running to mid, and that's really the takeaway here, is that he actually doesn't have that bad of mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like you should be a higher level than Garen, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
He's not picking up waves. He's not CSing. He's just going for kills.
Yeah, and Garen may only have 49 CS, but he's probably been in lane for at least like
Garen's
200 at this
probably
point.
a higher level at this point, just from being near minion side.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
He's almost 10. Yeah, he's almost. He's like not far behind at all.
Yeah,
So
just from
Renekton's
sitting
level
next to
11 and Volibear's level 11. But Renekton opened with like the
Garen's level 11
freest.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Garen is equal in XP. I mean, if it were me, I would be level 13 right now. It's like no question.
Yep.
And it's just because I would have less kills. I would be like, 6-2 or 5-2 or something, right? But I would be way more in charge of the outcome. So let's see if he snaps out of it and starts side laning. Nope.
Yeah, it just goes straight back to mid. Like,
Yeah, so it's basically there's a magnet here, and he needs to get rid of it, I guess. And that's easy fixes though. Win mid, side lane, and stay side laning and absorb, inhale the XP. Just get bigger and bigger and bigger.